How's it going, everyone? We received some housing news today for the month of October, and we're going to dive into that on today's housing news segment. So today we received news for the month of October in regards to the housing market, and we received data that showed for the month of October, existing home sales dropped 5.9%, which was actually better than expectations of 7%. And inventory actually dropped for the third straight month. We are now down to around 3.3 months supply in housing inventory. And over the last 20 years before COVID, the equilibrium market was about 4.6. The normal market's about 4.6 months, and currently we are at 3.3 months supply in the housing market. If you actually strip out homes under contract, that number's even lower, and that's at 2.5 months. And as we discussed in a previous update, we typically see housing inventory peak around August or September. This is due to a few things, the builder schedule, and also getting back to school. A lot of people like to get moved in before the school year starts, so you'll see housing inventory start to rise in June, July, and August, peak in September, and then continue to decrease through March of the following year. And that's a little bit what we're seeing right now. And so with demand being low, why are we not seeing supply rise even more? And a lot of this comes down to all the way back what happened in 2008 and what is affecting builder confidence. So as you can see by the chart, we had extremely high supply before the housing collapse, 2007, 2008. And essentially builders learned their lesson from that period. A lot of builders went out of business, and now we are starting to see builder confidence over the last few months continue to decrease, meaning they're less likely to begin construction on new homes. And we've seen builders be more reserved since that '08 collapse. So we've seen housing supply continue to stay low. We're seeing that peak in September, and we're going to continue to see housing supply decrease. And that's why even if you might read some things in the news that say that home values are dropping substantially, that's not necessarily the case. Yes, in large overbought markets, housing values are dropping. They're giving back some of their huge gains they've had since 2020. But overall, housing values are being propped up by low supply. And we see that supply only going to decrease in the next 6 months, going up until next September. So home values are not going to just drop like they did in '08 because of this low supply of 2.5 months, which should continue to decrease. Builder confidence being low. These are all factors that are keeping supply low. Overall, we're also seeing CoreLogic release their report on rents for the month of October, and CoreLogic does a really good job of doing really up-to-date data. And rents actually dropped for the fifth straight month on their report. How is this going to affect inflation? Well, this CoreLogic number is very up to date, but our main inflation indicator, CPI, Consumer Price Index, is typically lagging behind this CoreLogic number. And the thing about the CPI is rents actually make up 39% of the report. So once the CPI catches up with these CoreLogic figures, let's say January, February, like we've been predicting, then we're going to see inflation really drop. And that's even after we saw a low inflation figure in this month's figures. So overall, we expect continued decreases in rates. It's going to probably be a little bit choppy over the next month or so. But once we start to get these CPI figures that come out in December, January, February, we should see mortgage interest rates decrease, which is going to drive back into the market a lot more buyers. And with the supply being low, we are going to shift back towards more of a seller's market, a more aggressive seller's market. So if you're a buyer, probably better to get into a home now as soon as you can before we start seeing the seller's market. If you're a seller, it might be beneficial to hold off until we start seeing supply continue to decrease even more. As far as mortgage rates go, we've had a really great couple of weeks since the CPI data came out. And right now, if we want to look at the charts, the 10-year Treasury, which is a good indicator of mortgage rates, as the 10-year Treasury goes down, mortgage interest rates typically go down. We've currently broken below the 50-day moving average, and we're battling that today. It's probably going to battle it for a week or two, but we've got a lot of room towards the upside as far as mortgage interest rates dropping. That's kind of where we've been as far as the prediction goes. We're still hoping that mortgage interest rates are going to drop to the low fives, mid fives by the end of summer. And a lot of that's going to do with what does the Fed do? We're expecting a 50 basis point increase in December. But what is their sentiment as regards to, do they want to hold off after their December increase and wait until some more data comes in? Or are they going to continue to be aggressive and be ahead of the lagging data? And a lot of that is going to determine what this next recession looks like. So if anybody has any questions on where the housing market is, where mortgage rates are, what a good mortgage strategy in this current market where we're predicting lower interest rates in the future might be, please feel free to reach out to me. If not, you can also follow me on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their day.